Hello, everyone, and welcome to another SpyParty Masters Championship competitive cast. I am Corvus Maury. I'm joined by our desk analyst, Opie Wrights,
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
and by co-caster, Scout.
Hello, hello, aka Warning Track.
We have got a match today in the Champions Round Robin between Rav and Lev T, two players who, of course, both share a lot of characteristics from their playstyle to their name. Now, these players also have one other thing in common. They both lost to Nebula, who has run away with first place in this group. Nebula has come out of this group 3-0, has locked in first place. But now second place is wide open. The remaining three players, none of them have played. We'll be seeing their games over the rest of this weekend. And this is the first between Rav and Lev. And it's probably fair to say that the loser of this match is going to have a very, very hard time making it into bracket.
I would agree with that, Corvus. The loser of this match has their fate taken out of their own hands, as it were, as they will be at the best. Their best scoreline at the end could be 1 and 2, which is not impossible to make out of groups if all of the other participants, other than Nebula, are also 1 and 2, and you win on tiebreakers. But it's going to be difficult for sure.
All right, well, we, of course, will be taking a look at the match. We'll be taking a look at the draft. But before we do any of that, let's take a look at the players. And Opie, as you are our desk analyst, why don't I turn it over to you to tell us a little about Rav?
Well, Rav is, I think, very well known at this point for being an incredibly strong camping sniper. And during this SMC cycle in particular, had a run of almost 10 months, I believe, without losing a single SpyParty competitive match, not even in the bi-weekly Swiss, which were much, not I wouldn't say much more casual, but they were much more frequent and they were shorter sets, so a lot more variance potentially there. And Rav didn't lose in any of those. Of course, Winter Cup champion comes in as, I believe, the second seed, thanks to that. I would say that Rav's Spy is a relative weakness compared to his sniper. We've all seen Rav's sniper just go perfect a lot. But we've also seen Rav's Spy often being a little too slow. And that can be a problem, of course, in the 7-9 versus Nebula that we had earlier. One of the best SpyParty matches we've seen in a long while. We saw Rav's Spy kind of coming out of its shell a little bit and being more active. But for this highlight clip, I'd like to focus a bit more on the sniper because that is the bread and butter of Rav's play.
Rav is watching her a lot. Look at this. Look at this zoom. He's so worried about the ambassador. So worried about the ambassador. Oh, I think Legor felt the heat.
Yeah. Book goes back where it came from.
Wow, that's great reading of the laser movement from Legorv, if that's indeed what happened. This game is swinging back and forth. Legorv out to that big rush, then the contact knocks out so many highlights, then possibly about to get shot. Doesn't even matter. He's not sure where the book came from, and it doesn't matter.
Wait, was that for Book or was that for Cycles?
I don't know, but he was staring at him the entire time. I don't think it mattered where he went.
And as you can see there, Rav had the party quite well narrowed down here from the Purloin and the contact, and does have that foundation in etiquette and is not afraid to use it even on the big stage, making that shot thanks to book etiquette there. Very, very impressive stuff from Rav. And it's one of the reasons that Rav just doesn't lose on sniper very often. It's not just the camping, but it's just the pure consistency and being able to use every tool in his toolkit. Now, Lev, on the other hand, actually has a very similar playstyle. We've seen a lot of very similar things from Lev. Lev has a strong, pretty campy sniper and a spy that is sometimes a little bit too slow. But Lev, unfortunately, hasn't had that same breadth of success that Rav has had so far this SMC cycle, and really ever. Lev hasn't made any huge wins. We all obviously see the Winter Cup 4th place, which is nothing to sneeze at. but it's not Winter Cup first place like Rav took, and that is all the more impressive. So Lev does have something to be said for his spy, though, when it's not being a little too slow. We will see that coming up in this clip.
I haven't seen anything done with books at all this set, and we've seen spies go to books, right, as we're actually doing right here, but nothing with the mission.
This is an awkward time to be at books too.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
We're teasing it, but Ambassador's safe. Is Adaf gonna see this?
Book cheeses just work, Scout. They just do.
And that is Lev doing a quick little book cheese on Modern in the middle of the game, not being caught for it against Adafayesh. Adafayesh, someone that was expected to beat Lev and by a lot of the community, and Lev coming out on top. And if we see more of that, this could be a very, very interesting match. And a little bit of behind the scenes info. I actually almost chose a different clip for this against myself in the Summer Cup group stages, where Lev actually took a swap in the middle game with about 2 minutes left, no mission win countdown, no nothing, but it was just so out of the blue that I did not catch it until later and shot someone else. And that is something I think Lev Spy can be quite good at, is finding these spots where it's just really, really unlikely for the spy to be doing whatever he's doing, and it works. So that is the big advantage I want to see coming out of Lev's spy here, because Lev is going to need every advantage that he can get. Because despite the fact that Rav has bled a little bit recently with losses to Screwloose and to Nebula, it's still Rav. And Rav is just so strong. You need something. So that's what I want to see out of Lev. I want to see if both spies can really pick it up. Not play too slowly, because I think both of these snipers are not going to be really challenged by a slow spy. Rav in particular, very willing to hold. One last thing about Lev is there's been historically a problem with tilt or giving up in matches that he's quite down in. However, we haven't really seen that as much in this SMC cycle, which is very impressive to overcome that problem. Now, I think it still might be lurking there in the background, but it's not going to show up if he's just down 2 games, for example. The more interesting problem would be if Lev is down maybe 4 or 5 games at any given point. That would be a very difficult time to recover, just by the game score, but especially if you have problems with the tilt down that line. So hoping not to see any of that out of Lev, but it is a possibility. Thank you, Corvus, for having me. I'm very, very interested to see how this match goes.
Well, let's take a look at the draft, because these players, of course, were ready for that. We have the bans onto Ballroom and Balcony, the restricts onto Veranda and High Rise, doubled Redwoods, doubled Aquarium, singled Gallery, Tayen, High Rise, and Modern. So, I mean, the first thing that leaps out to me from this draft is we're going to see more doubled Aquarium. We have seen so much doubled Aquarium in this tournament. We're also going to see more Redwoods. We've seen lots of Redwoods. But the main kind of theme, I think, is occlusion. You have Aquarium, Redwoods, Tayen, High Rise. So much occlusion present in this draft.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Lots of not quite spy-sided venues. I think Tayen is the only one that's historically been spy-sided. But all of these very much have spy opportunities, and it's really going to come down to whether or not these players can take advantage of those spy opportunities, and whether or not they can really hold down the sniper side on these rather difficult venues to snipe. Side note, Ballroom ban hurts my heart.
Yeah, we have the Ballroom ban. And Modern, I think, has been the only venue here that has not seen a lot of spy success. Very low spy win rate in SMC. The rest of these venues are hovering somewhere between 40 and 50. Modern, I think, is down to the 30s, maybe the low 30s at this place. So lots, of course, of opportunities for the spies. And if someone can come up with something on Modern, that would be even stronger. But let's go ahead and move into our predictions. I mean, Lev, I've actually been very impressed and happy with Lev's play in SMC. I think coming off of a tough Summer Cup, being able to bounce back into this tournament is very impressive. I just think Rav is so strong. I will point out that Lev lost to Nebula 6-10 and Rav lost to Nebula 7-9, which are pretty similar scores, I think it's fair to say. But I'm just going to piggyback off of those two scores. I'm going to say, well, if that's the case, then I'm going to go with Rav with a 9-7 win.
I think while I also believe in Lev, and definitely recently he's been playing at a quite a higher level than I've been used to seeing, I think I'm still going to give Rav the edge here, and I might go 10-6.
Yes, to Rav. And I think I'm going to round out the predictions with a similar one. It's going to be Rav. Let me take a moment to think about that scoreline. I'm gonna join Scout in saying 10-6. I feel like it's the pretty safe option for this. Is going to be, not super close, but it's not going to be a blowout either.
All right, so it looks like we're getting into our first game. It will be Rav on the Spy side, playing as Kane. Lev on the Sniper side of Redwoods. Scout, you ready to go?
I am indeed.
All right, let's get our first game started in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Redwoods.
I'm starting off the set.
Yeah, we're going to start
with
off
some
chasing our seduction target and land here, take a quick flirt.
And Redwoods being a historically painful venue to watch from Sniper side.
Yeah,
We're
it's-
happy to just sit in this conversation, though, not making any use of that possibly... the tree cover can be very unpredictable in time of chaos, but with all the activity and Sniper trying to take lights around these trees, we could be making some more use of the cover here.
Yeah, Rav opening this up pretty slow. We've seen actually a lot of slow opening play from so many spies in this tournament. We really have not seen much in the way of early rushes. I think, of course, that probably just reflects a lot of respect for the opponents and for the snipers that they're having to deal with, but it definitely does mean that we have seen some things come right down to the wire and spies end up in a little bit of time trouble. And Rav, I mean, we can't even timer flirt this. Our seduction target is left, so we're going to need a plan at some point.
And I think the length of the timer on Redwoods is often underestimated, just how short it is. As we take somewhat of a bug pass past Ambassador, I think Lev is sure that we didn't take that bug. But any attention is bad attention when you're the spy.
Here comes a white contact. It will
And the
knock
other
out
red.
Small Man, which is pretty significant on Redwoods. But we will finish Flirt and Contact within a couple seconds of each other, so that's 2 missions done. And Lev paying a lot of attention to the Ambassador on this venue. I mean, it makes total sense. Of course, we have the neutral light onto the Ambassador as is tradition. 100 seconds left on the clock. Rav giving a little bit of a camera shake, not happy about something. But the thing I'm not happy about is the mission progress, as we just have the 2 standard missions done with under a minute and a half left in the game.
Well, we have an opportunity for a third mission now with the Ambassador standing right next to us, and we take the standing bug.
Yes, we do. It's very much on screen, but it's not exactly easy to see when we're playing as Kane. And we're going to pick up a fingerprint and an inspect off the statue as well. So all of a sudden we are making a lot of progress.
Unfortunately, where are we going to find our second fingerprint from? If we go to the other bookcase, then we will be completing statues as well as fingerprints. We seem to have found one here, though. It's a difficult, and we miss it. This is pretty rough now. We're under 50 seconds, and now we have to find somewhere this third fingerprint.
We will get the statue down, but we don't have a print. So now, of course, we have options, and we have a highlight. Is Rob just going to go statue to statue to statue? We are. We're betting that the sniper just doesn't have the bug and is not going to want to shoot. I think Lev is not going to want to shoot this without the bug. 20 seconds left. It doesn't matter. The shot comes off, and Lev holds down the sniper side of Redwoods.
I think really rough for Rov there missing that fingerprint, because at this point it doesn't matter that Lev has missed the bug. If Lev's crediting us hitting the difficult fingerprint, that's 4 missions even without the bug.
Oh, that's absolutely fair. And yeah, that's probably exactly what happened, and it's a good shot from Lev because it is the spy. And that means Lev draws first blood on the sniper side of Redwoods. Coming into our next game, we have Lev now on the spy side of Redwoods playing as Duke, and Rav on the sniper side. And Rav may be feeling a little bit sad about that decision, but time to try to pick up the sniper. Lev playing on Duke in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
No chance for a chaos bug here, as we're just straight into an empty conversation. No attempt to chase RST to bar. We're willing to sit here, chill. Hopefully we don't get joined by someone who's going to trap us here.
Well, we will be able to make it out of there before Orange Sari arrives. Of course, there's a little bit of situations where you need to kind of stay in conversation as the AI approaches, because they're counted as in conversation even though they haven't landed yet. Not the kind of thing that's likely to matter too much on Redwoods, especially. Lev going all out with the camera. Love to see that, and we will be offered a drink.
And we take a delegate. So now we have this float, a delegate. This is pretty nice mission progress for the start of this Redwoods game.
Yeah, I think Lev will be happy with this. The question is if we're going to actually take advantage of the time we invested in the delegate. We will be not joined in this conversation. Lev trying to avoid any kind of anti-tail here by talking. And we'll move on outside. Trace down our selection target, maybe pick up another flirt.
Make it in pretty nice and snugly to ST. And there goes the delegate to Sari. Followed by a green test, so now we only need 1 flirt from anywhere to finish, and Sari being a highlight. Oh no!
Oh,
Sari
no.
was a highlight and then is low lit for pathing. This is brutal.
Banana bread.
Here comes a
Banana bread.
contact. 2 of them, actually. So that will knock out the Taker, but the Taker was already low lit. The Pearl... No, but the timer expires!
Banana
Oh,
bread.
that's brutal. No Pearling comes off.
And I'm not sure why we take this third banana bread. I think we just gave away another low light. This party is now down to 5. I mean, at least we're not a highlight, but we finally got flirt done, and we need a time ahead if nothing else.
Minute and a half on the clock. I believe we've done 3 banana breads, none of them real. We will be able to finish flirt here at least, but I'm not sure what Lev's plan is at this point.
Well, we have an ambassador next to us, but I suspect that taking this walking bug would be death right now. At this point, I think we just need to do something, anything.
Just go take the list. Go take the list and try to get someone shot. But Rav not really in the business of shooting civs. And I mean, it seems like we're eyeing up the party looking for something to bail us out. We see Wheels go to bar. We see the briefcase go down. We have options, but none of them good. We have the time when we go for the bug. It's not really visible on Sniper Cam. And so the highlight comes off. That's probably not good for Lev.
And we still need 2 more missions in 30 seconds. Here comes a green swap. That's the first of 2 missions.
That'll help.
We didn't get an inspect though, so how are we going to finish? We're in beeps. We can't time add. Go take the list while the statue's being
Banana
swapped?
bread.
Here comes the real contact. That will put
Banana
us into
bread.
pending. We do 2, and that's enough for Rav. 5 banana breads is going to get him shot, and Rav holds down the sniper side of Redwoods on the return serve.
Not even waiting for the swap to come off.
Yeah, I don't totally understand the shot, but I mean, I guess if you're pretty sure this is the spy, then okay, fine. And you don't want any chance of having to deal with, like you miss something and you think there's going to be overtime and there isn't.
Well, that's our first pair of games split to the snipers.
That means we will head to the next pair. Of course, still on Redwoods, which was Lev's double. And Lev going to be playing as Salmon. Rob on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it. We still have seen that no player in SMC has been able to reverse a behind score at halftime. So both of these players will be looking to 3-1 their double. That has historically been a very important part of success. If you were behind at halftime, it's very rough for you. Rav, again, starting off pretty slow, watching our seduction target at center books, and just eyeing up the party, waiting for a chance to move. No point moving yet until we see where our ST goes.
Statue to statue is what our ST is doing, and I can't imagine that we want to really follow her to statues this early in the game, especially with Lev doing statue highlights.
It will be interesting to see if Rob decides to go for a frame game. We've seen very few frames in SMC, and certainly very few successful frames, but an early statue completion from our seduction target could be a path to that, as she also goes for a briefcase.
This is slightly brutal for Rov. You normally want to be getting some kind of flirt done within the first minute. Is our ST going to finally settle somewhere, or is she going to decide to finish even more missions? Oh, well, okay, it's going to be right next to us for a green test for 51%.
Yeah, we'll take that, but Teal entered that conversation very close to us and quick-talked. So she is probably earning herself a lot of very well-deserved attention at this point.
The issue with trying to make frames work against the camping sniper, though, is that your frame target really has to have 4 missions before they're going to be shot.
Coming up on 100 seconds now. Rav has just been standing in this conversation, has not moved, does not go to try that bug. The ambassador does not get close enough to us, and Rav, I'm sure, knows. We could just try to timer flirt this. We could even try to start talk cycling to see if we can get Teal to talk and try to flirt with us. But okay, that's 2 green tests, and no, we're going to bail out a conversation. We leave mid-talk to go to bar. I don't think that Teal could have delegated to us, but this is enough chaos that I wouldn't even mind a direct take.
We just take the delegate. There's a print at bar, so we have a print now. We've only got a minute, though, and, you know, Teal's being stared down at bookcase. I think Steele is suspect number 1 right now.
Yeah, and takes the book out as well. That's maybe actually unfortunate for Rav, because she's unlikely to do more particularly suspicious things. Oh no, she enters and gets a quick contact. She gets 2. But that
unfortunately, we have a drink in our left hand, so we can't bug. We're gulping to try and finish this drink, but Ambassador's already gone. There goes the delegate to an SDA. This might be slightly brutal if Lev is onto this.
Come on 20 seconds. This is not going to finish the game for us with this Purloin. So we're going to have to do something else. We need a fingerprint, really. And it's going to be hard to force. Ambassador does not put down the briefcase. We go for the bug instead. I think it was on camera for Lev.
It didn't take. It doesn't matter. We're just going to time out.
Very uncharacteristic timeout here from Rav, with only 2 missions done.
An attempt was definitely made to finish, just didn't quite work out.
Yeah, and you can imagine here, like if this delegate takes, this is where it expires, of course. If this delegate takes and the ambassador puts down the briefcase, or we are able to actually land this bug, then Rob's in mission win countdown. And okay, we're going to overtime, but even still, it's a lot better than just a timeout that allows Lev to secure the 3rd sniper win of the set.
And I think that's an even more impressive hold when we remember just how ridiculous Wheels and Teal were being at the start of that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't disagree with that, but that's that is the first 3 games of Redwoods as we head into the final one. First quarter of the game coming up. And Lev, on his pick, remember, Rob is going to be perfectly happy with a split here. Lev is really the one that needs to push the envelope, and we'll be doing it as Alice, with Rob on the sniper side in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And straight into center statues. Are we going to try and get some kind of inspect done in a way before Rov realizes we're here? It looks like that's what happened. We have an inspect, and I'm pretty sure we weren't seen at those statues ever.
Yeah, it's a cool trick. You start with a drink in hand. Usually you can't do those quick inspects, but if you're on Redwoods, you absolutely can. You just go stand on the pad, click the button, and a bug comes off as well? The bug as well?
That was some beautiful bouncing, and it was just covered up by Rov doing housekeeping lowlights, I think. I think Lev might be worried that he's more of a suspect than he is, but with this start, we have a free bug. We've got one inspect that Rov doesn't know about.
Yeah, and I think that one inspect is huge. I mean, we saw earlier in this set that even a bug that's maybe suspected, if you go with 3 full inspects, it's not that hard to take a shot. But now, if the bug is not suspected and the inspect is not known, if we go to center statues, pick up 2 more inspects, that's that mission done. The only issue here, of course, is Lev will go and do exactly that, is that we still have 0% flirt coming up on 2 minutes.
And I'm a little worried about the flirt. If we can hit green test, it's going to be okay, but we still need to get the flirt and then a contact, and we only have 2 minutes to do it. Lev, putting his foot on the gas, so here we line up for this first flirt.
Lev has one of the lowest green test rates of any SMC player and the lowest of any player remaining. Under 50%, only Lev and Lazy Bear in that category that are still in SMC. Rob, of course, the second highest at 61 in the SMC season. So uphill battle now for Lev with 90 seconds left. We can timer flirt this technically and just hope the double agent joins this conversation. We could finish that way, but with the STA in, it's not going to be easy.
Yes, and the DA's been busy inspecting and is now at Windows and trying to get flirt done across to whatever conversation the DA is at, and then finish flirt is going to be rough.
Gonna be rough. We're coming up on a minute left, and the shot comes off. So I suppose the bug was suspected.
I suppose we can reasonably infer that from the shot being taken, yes. Rov obviously crediting at least one other mission if we're being shot just for our second flirt here, though.
Yeah, I mean, the timing for the flirt is reasonable, but what a shot from Rov to keep the set tied 2-2 as we go into Rov's double.
And let's see how many shark books we see.
I would not be at all surprised to see some shark content from Rov, given that this was his pick. And he will be starting off on the spy side playing as Plane Twin. Lev on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Rov picking a twin to be the same color as the shark, you know, for extra camouflage.
That is probably it. We have, of course, our twin goes to statue, so our sibling picks up the highlight. Not much of a bar rush, so statue lights it will be. The ambassador does leave a print at bar, which Rob, I'm sure, is keeping an eye on. But at this high level, you can't just really do like print, inspect, contact, flirt, and expect to get away with it.
As we watch to see where our ST is going to go, and that's not the conversation we're in, so we're going to make a beeline to start making some kind of mission progress here.
Yep, we'll find our selection target. We'll pull this flirt pretty quickly, I suspect. These players have not been shy about it, and there it is. It's a green test from Rob, 51%. Double Agent is in this conversation, but there's still going to be like 6 or 7 people out, so it looks like Rob is going to wait before pulling that banana bread.
and wait by going to books.
We will have shark cover here soon, I think.
We will have shark cover, and it will be the same color as we are. There is the transfer behind shark, perfectly timed. The question is how willing Lev will be to credit, someone being behind shark at books twice in this game. First time can be a coincidence, second time less so.
Well, we 2-flirt our seduction target, so that's one mission done as we head into bar. I actually really like the idea of picking up a delegate here. I think it makes a lot of sense. Not because the bar's been particularly busy, because it hasn't exactly been, but if it hasn't been, then that just means people have been elsewhere doing other things. We actually just don't take the delegate, though. It's a straight-up reject.
I'm not sure if we're trying to lose heat or what, but this is all taking a bit of time, and we're down to under 2 minutes with, admittedly flirt, which takes the most time, is done, but we still need 2.5 more missions. As we check our watch with no time ad.
Nope, instead, surely we're not going back to... Oh, we're walking across? Trying to pro lane behind shark? This is not going to work. That cheese is extremely visible, the timing not correct, and it's hard for Lev to miss that, I think, with nothing else really going on.
I think it's almost right. It's hard to tell. Sometimes the shark can be not quite perfect on replays, but I imagine Lev must have caught some of this.
Minute 10 left on the clock. We still have that microfilm in pocket, and the timing is coming up for it pretty soon, so Rav may not really be able to... Okay, here comes the delegate from that early cheese. It was on camera, and the take is not going to quite be behind shark, so it's all going to come down to this. Once the pro lane comes off, here it comes.
We're at books getting ready for our second microfilm, probably behind shark. It's not quite behind shark again, but I don't think Lev was concentrating on it. I think he was trying to puzzle out this pro lane, and now we've got 3 missions done. We only need a contact to finish, and will Lev be able to take the shot?
We're in with the double agent. Here comes the shot. We're behind shark. We're not even being looked at. Safety off flashes onto Salmon. That's not us. And Rav has just played a complete ghost game with 2 hardtails and is going to walk away from this with the first spy win of the set. And I just don't know. I just don't know what Lev missed.
I think it's perfectly reasonable to miss cheese like this if you're focused on something else. It's not perfect, but it's still mostly off screen, and Lev must be kicking himself after this one.
It's all about attention, and Rav exploited it apparently perfectly. And now Lev is going to have to try to answer back with a spy win to avoid going down in the first half. It's going to be as Disney with Rav on the sniper side in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Quick request from Lev, but not going to have any real shark cover or anything here. So we're just going to take a real delegate.
Takes a little bit of time at the start of the game, and having a drink in hand is going to stop us doing some other progress, but we managed to... No, we don't. That was so close, and it was a green test too.
Yeah, no flirt will come off for Lev. You hate to see it. But that means we have still 3.5 minutes. The question is if we'll fire this delegate given how exposed it was at the beginning. We joined conversation with the double agent. Big conversation. I mean, we could take a very aggressive contact here that would give a lot of people lowlights and a lot of people reals. But at this level of play, I think giving Rav those many lowlights is not at all an option.
Definitely not this early in the game. When you've got 3 minutes more to play, you don't want to make life any easier on the sniper than you have to.
Now instead we'll go in for a flirt next to our seduction target. Hopefully this one will not get bailed on. 2 minutes 50, the timer will expire, and the seduction target will leave again. Lev waiting too long to try to hit that flirt. We have 0 mission progress.
Neither of these spies have felt the need for any kind of time ad, despite the slower play, which, given how this game has gone so far, 2 minutes 30, and we're basically the same as if we were at the start of the game, and a timeout could be quite useful.
We're going to continue to walk back and forth between these two front conversations. We've done it now a couple times. We do join conversation with the double agent, so if there's someone we want to get in for real, we have that opportunity. But we just bail on this conversation very quickly and head into statues. Could this be some kind of swap frame? Because it was a very quick leave out of there into here. And yes, here comes the swap. The fade is visible. And Rav giving a highlight to Irish. It's not clear exactly what the reaction is to the swap at this point. We heard Obi mention this kind of swap before from Lev, and it's absolutely possible. Here comes a fake contact to distract, perhaps. It will let off a lot of lowlights, but with a hardtail in the books, Lev may be feeling okay about that. The problem is the timer, under 100 seconds left. Still, again, not clear what Rob knows and what Rob doesn't know, but I think what Lev knows is that he has 0 flirt.
This would all be okay if Rav was taking the shot for whoever we swap framed. Which at this point, I'm not quite sure who. We have a chance for a cross-conversation flirt, but that isn't going to help us at all. At this point, with 1 minute 13, there's no way that we can get 3 flirts done. Ambassador's teasing us with the chance for a bug, but that's going to be death.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the frame target that we swapped for is an SDA, so that's not going to help either. Here we have SDA that we swapped for, so really tough break for Lev.
That's brutal. Oh, this is so cruel.
And look at this, we're just lining up for the... But it's just a delegate! And the shot comes off anyways!
Oh, that's so rough. Lev playing a game that could well have come off for him had that not been an SDA.
Yeah, that's a really rough break, and of course that kind of thing does happen. But I mean, look at this. Rocker starting off with a very early book in hand. Goes to back
completed
statues.
inspects.
Yep, so definitely an inspect completion. That swap, and if she's in for real, I mean, that's all you need. Now, of course, she can't be in for real for us because the STA is not going to be in with the double agent. Unfortunate for Lev, just went, for the best guess and turned out to be a very good guess at all. This shot from Rob, I think, is very interesting because at least the first time we watched it back, the shot comes off really before you can tell if the list has been taken or not. Because I think Rob may be thinking if he doesn't take the shot then, he might just not get another chance.
Rav prepared for the same kind of play that he inflicts on others, which you have to be here.
Yeah, and Rav now going to be trying to extend his lead, playing as Orange Sari on Aquarium. So some more camouflage. And Lev trying to even things out on the sniper side in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I think Lev really needs this win. After that slightly brutal spy loss, we want to avoid going down too far on Rob's pick.
Yeah, I mean, if you come out of halftime 3-5, that feels like the kind of thing that you could recover from, as Rob hits another green flirt. Coming out further than 3-5 is not a good feeling, I think.
Well, we have this flirt. It's good progress. I presume we don't want to be seen rushing too much this early game, though we're basically covered by Seek. I don't know if Lev would have even noticed us here.
Conversation's quite full. Bar also getting a lot of activity. Would love to see a Purloin come off from Rob at some point if we can get delegated too, because I'm not certain that Lev is in a position to really know and keep track of all the bar visitors, as it does not appear that highlights are being dedicated to bar.
Rob, on the other hand, content to just keep on sitting in this conversation. And as Sari... No, okay, finally we're making some moves somewhere. I was going to say, as Sari, the time it takes to get anywhere means that you have to allow a little more time for getting missions done than you would otherwise.
Rob giving us a little camera shake as he does eventually hit a white flirt, so this will not be a 2-flirt game. And of course, playing as Orange Sari, that could be relevant on a venue as large as Aquarium. But here comes the offer to us, and it will be just another clean delegate, for this time from Rav. Fingerprint on this, and we hit the green after, I think it was our ST who smudged the easy print. Join conversation with the double agent. No, we're actually going to go very wide, head around this couch into the front conversation. Nobody here. ST in the other front conversation. We really do want that flirt. But Rav's going to be looking for that second print.
There is at least one on statues and has been cooking for a while, so we might be trying to maybe send this and finish prints and inspects and go for a silent game. There's the send. It is to one of the twins, the neutral lit twin. As we ignore our ST to go in to this fingerprintable statue to get that finished off before it becomes too more difficult.
Yeah, I think this delegate has a long line stacked up behind it. We do pick up the print, and we are going to pick up the inspect. Delegate's not going to come off. Was not especially close, unfortunately. But that is fingerprint done with 1:20 left on the clock, and partial progress on inspect and flirt.
The question now is, I guess with that delegate expiring, we're just going to have to finish with some kind of contact, which is a little unfortunate. It would have been very nice and clean to have a silent game. It makes it much harder for the sniper to shoot.
In with the ST, we can go ahead and finish the flirt now. There it is. Unfortunately, double agent not being quite as cooperative, and so we still have quite a bit of progress we have to make.
I think even if we do manage to snag the double agent, this is going to be a difficult game to win. As you said earlier, just a straight inspect, fingerprint, flirt, contact game is what the sniper is going to be expecting.
We see Rav paying a lot of attention to the shark. We're not even close to doing anything behind shark at bar, so that's not going to be the finish here. And even if we direct take the list, we're still not in mission win countdown. So we just pick up another delegate that will allow us to hang the clock, but only if we pick up another inspect, and we're not going to be able to do that. So Bug is kind of off the table at this point. Surely not another timeout from Rav.
There goes the delegate, but we need something to hang this clock. We're short a mission.
It's contact.
Banana
Here it
bread.
comes. There it is. Just barely hangs the clock. And Lev has to know this is the purloin, but doesn't know who sent. The camera going all over the place, knows we have to shoot somebody. Who do we shoot? We shoot the person next to the spy. And that is going to be Rav picking up a spy win on Aquarium.
That is absolutely brutal. I mean, the fact we even hit that contact, if that wasn't a green or if that was slightly further along on the AT track, we just time out here.
Yeah, that's absolutely wild. I mean, that comes off, what is that, 1/8 of a second before time expires? I mean, Rav playing with fire doesn't time out this game, but wow, is it close. And Lev, obviously knows it's the purloin, knows the list is going to disappear before it even does, but just doesn't know who to shoot. And that is Rav going up 5-2, and now having a sniper game on Aqua to try to extend a sweep on his double. All right.
Yeah, I think Lev's had a couple of rough games here. First the STA, and then that pretty lucky break from Rav hitting that at the end there.
All right, well, here comes his last game in the half. Lev playing as Irish. Rob on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Not interested in heading to bar. I think we were going to try and follow our SDA, our seduction target, and it doesn't matter. She comes to us.
Very happy to see that, but another white test flirt from Lev. And these differences in rate between the lowest remaining player and the second highest remaining player are starting to stack up. We just see it create difficulties in these games for Lev. And, I mean, it's rough, but it's, I guess, just something you have to plan around as we head into 3.5 minutes left in the game in the half, with Lev sitting on 1 white flirt.
Happy just to wait here. I think possibly going to try for a time of flirt, meaning that we can not worry so much about having to come back to our seduction target twice more. It really does hamper the amount that you can get done if you're having to fit in 3 flirts. Here comes the second. It's another close white. So now we're free to go and start on some other missions, and we can come back to our ST later.
I feel like it's going to be so difficult for Lev to remain focused in this game. I mean, think about the last 2 games that we dealt with. We dealt with a frame onto an SDA, and then a banana bread green test at the last 10th of a second of the game to avoid a timeout. I mean, any player having to deal with that and now down 5-2 in the set, it's not easy. Rav just has to feel like he's cruising at this point, and Lev is going to need to mount a comeback on the Spy side, and we're playing it very slow. Our seduction target has left, so we're not timer flirting. Seduction target, of course, is Rocker. Who else could it possibly be? A camera shake from Lev, you hate to see it, but you got to do something.
Yes, this conversation isn't going to give us anything. We're just going to go and finish flirt, but we have to hit a green here to manage to finish this up. I don't think we're close enough for a white to finish it. And here we go. It's the brutal number of 99%. The game is just stacking on insult after insult onto Lev here.
I think that's fair to say. We're going to head over to Bar, it looks like. We're going to try to create some chaos. I think that's a great idea. Bar has not been super active in the last 30 seconds or so, but we will pick up a drink. Our selection target, nope, teases us. We do not hit the fingerprint either. It's a red test on the print. So Lev now, I think, 0 out of 4 on greens in this game. You hate to see it. There's the green contact behind Shark. Ooh, and we leave conversation as well. That's very spicy. I don't think it's going to get rewarded with a low light, but it's a very cool idea.
I think we needed something like that kind of cheese play to get us out of the spot we're in.
And we're going to walk this all the way behind Shark?
Oh, this is beautiful, but I think Rob knows.
It's a very good Shark walk, just a little bit visible at the end as we just dump the book into the bookcase. No, surely we don't. Okay, we don't bug behind Shark, although there was the opportunity there. And all of a sudden, I mean, we have 3 missions done. Now we have 33 seconds left. I don't think we have time for this delegate, so we do need still, yep, there's the expiration. We still need 1 more, but Lev has gotten a lot done.
I think Lev has played this beautifully, and it's not going to matter because I think Rav just knows we were doing that shark walk. I mean, we have to direct take this at this point.
We do.
There it goes, and there goes the shot.
And Rav with a 4-0 sweep on his pick of Aquarium. That is just brutal. I think that is maybe the 3rd 4-0 that we've seen in SMC out of all of these matches. So, I mean, obviously excellent play by Rav, and I'm going to be honest, a couple of hard breaks for Lev.
I think Lev has definitely been playing very well. It's just not been working out, particularly on Aquarium. It's just been screwing us over a little.
All right, well, Opie, let's get you back here on the analyst desk as we take our halftime break. Walk us through what we saw in the first half of this set.
Yeah, the first half of the set, the entire story, I think, of course, is that Aquarium 4-0 by Rav. And, you know, if we go in to look at the highlight, it's not even a clip. It's just a still frame of the first Aquarium game we saw out of Rav's Spy, 20 seconds left. And I want to see that from the sniper view, if you don't mind, Corvus. Yeah, look at this party. It is not narrowed down whatsoever. The contact has been delayed until the last mission. We're not a highlight. It's just so difficult for Lev to find the correct shot here. And we saw both games that Rav won, a purloin and a late contact, both of which were more or less missed by Lev because this party is just so lit up. And something that Lev needs to think about going forward, if he is to bring this match back, is how to handle these late contact finishes from Rav, because that is what we saw both times. Contact was effectively the last mission Rav performed in both of these games where he won. And that made it very, very difficult for Lev to narrow down the party at all. So Lev needs to find a way to do that. And
possibly start to analyze, when the game starts getting down to these last few seconds of, okay, who's trying to rush for a contact right now? Because maybe if Lev can do that, Lev can find some correct shots on spies that he might not otherwise. Now, of course, we are going into mostly venues that do not have bar purloin, which did seem to be an issue for Lev when Rav performed that twice on Aquarium. So there's some hope for sure, but Rav is in an absolute dominating position. And honestly, this is where we see if Lev can avoid the tilt. We haven't seen it yet this event, as we keep mentioning, but getting swept 4-0 on a venue, that's just a hammer to the mental.
All right, well, let's see what we get here. And of course, just to reiterate, we have 3 players going for second place. So every single game in this match could be extremely consequential, both for Rav and for Lev. So hopefully neither player is in a position where they are giving up after a hard break or 2. And now Rav, with all the chances, playing on Lev's single of Gallery. Scout, you ready to get back into this game?
I am.
All right. Thank you, Opie. Let's get back into the match in 3, 2, 1, playing it. I think it's so interesting hearing Opie talk about some of the late contact issues that Rav's been able to exploit. Gallery, probably not the venue known for those kinds of things where you really have to take the contacts when you have a chance, much more so even than what's left coming up in the draft. Tayan, High Rise, even Modern don't really have those problems. So Rav may not be able to get bailed out with the last second contact in these games on this venue. But we start off with just an innocent reject. Clock is ticked down to 3 minutes 30 on Gallery. Rav's still plenty of chances.
I think definitely Rav will have to be far more onto the pacing that he was. It's just so much harder to crowd missions on Gallery. You still can, but they're different missions and they're easier to see. A last minute book dump at the back can be caught still.
Rav finally going to take the first flirt, and hey, guess what? It's green. That's 42%. We'll still be a 3 flirt, but still plenty of time on the clock. We're in conversation with the SDA. Toby is also nearby, but no chain currently. We will go for the request, interestingly enough, but General does take, so this would be a raw chain for us if we decide to do anything.
I think there might be a difficult on the string.
Indeed there is.
And we hit it with a green test, shocker.
Yeah, Rav showing the power of that. It's just unfortunate. I think it was on Redwoods. We couldn't quite make the difficult print work, but now it's certainly working for us. And we have 2 minutes 15 left in this game.
Another far green flirt takes us up to 84%. This is pretty comfortable. We can now finish this flirt from anywhere. Unfortunately, we have this drink in hand, which is going to impede our ability to get too many other missions done. We still need to find a fingerprint somewhere, and Ambassador is so far refusing to put down that briefcase.
Well, it's going to go down now, no question about it. The Ambassador is at Blue Books, so this will be 2 print opportunities potentially, and certainly at least 1 for Rav, who's going to have to wait to lead this conversation until the Ambassador runs away, and then decide whether he wants to go for the case or wait for someone else to do that and go for the book later, let it cook for a little bit.
Incidentally, our seduction target has tried to sidle up to someone else holding a statue 3 times in a row now, and has finished inspects.
We tried a bug, we're too far away, but no indication that Lev saw it, which I think is a little interesting. So, still all to play for from Rav, as we were just, I guess, cooking that print a little bit more. I think Smallman might smudge it putting back the book. No, not going to happen. Smallman goes in first.
Even if we get this print though, it'll only be 1 complete mission. We'll still have to finish flirt and find 2 more missions. Rav again coming into a little bit of trouble. Going for the good old flirt at statues. Is Lev onto this though? Here we go to finish prints. that'll be 2 missions done. If we take this book out and put it in the wrong bookcase, that'll be 3. But then the double agent's out of conversation.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we talked about as a potential problem. 24 seconds at this point, double agent making no effort to make it easier for us, going all the way outside and into this conversation, fair enough, but we don't have time to get there. So 16 seconds, what's Rov's plan? Ambassador's nearby. We have to go for this. We have to go for this bug, but it's not good.
This has to be seen, right? Yep.
Indeed, it is. A nice attempt by Rov to recover something there at the end. And the bug, I think, is better than it has any right to be. But, like, the path makes no sense. Like, why are we doing this? And the arm extension is still visible. There's the shot from Lev. And Lev recovers a little bit and stays alive in the match.
I think that this is probably... Choosing Gallery is probably Lev's savior here, because somewhere where Rov can't just contact to finish makes it much harder.
Yeah, and Rov kind of maybe had to adjust his playstyle there. Didn't really do it quite, and was punished for it. Breaks the streak of 5 unanswered wins from Rov. And now Lev, knowing his back's up against the wall, has pulled out the small man on Gallery, looking for the single sweep. Rov on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Quick
There are
book.
times when you just have to emergency smallman. I think, despite being at books early, we were seeing the entire right side of the venue was open, and it might be a little bit dangerous for us to hard transfer. So instead we are going to action transfer behind this massive cover, including Toby, and pick up a green flirt. I think this might be the first initial green flirt that Lev has managed to hit.
Yeah, another option there, of course, was the put book into green, take book out of green, and then walk away from green. So it looks like we were never there behind the conversation cover. But the cover can evaporate very, very quickly. So Lev decides just to take the microfilm for now. That is partial progress on 2 missions pretty early on. And I think Lev will take that for sure.
I think definitely having the blue microfilm finished first is good. Like, it's far easier to find cover for the left-hand bookcase than it is for the right-hand, where it's usually your cover is just people standing looking at paintings, and they can decide that they're bored of that pretty quickly.
Just under 3 minutes on the clock, and we are not going to 2-flirt. Lev unfortunately hits the white. A little bit of a camera shake coming off from Lev, but it's fine. We still have time to find one more flirt in this game. I'm not too worried about that. Ambassador leaving a print at statues, so Lev, of course, keeping an eye on that. But prints against Rov does not usually feel good. Lev, I think, is going to be better served trying to find the best possible way to get this microfilm into green.
I think if we get away with this microfilm entirely, prints could be okay, but we're also smallman, which makes it... There's just always that extra level of suspicion there. Another option, of course, could be a late-game white pearl line and dance behind conversation, but that depends heavily on what the party texture is like.
Rov very carefully watching the partygoers for swap, as I think Orange Starry picks up this print. Lev, with just over 100 seconds left, heading back inside, having finished flirt outside. We did 2 flirts out there. And, I mean, we could just go try to finish the microfilm, but no, we enter into this back conversation with the double agent. We could be thinking about a contact, but it's not great, as Orange Sorry has gone statue to statue and picked up a safety flash from Rov. That's pretty significant, and she is not someone I think that Lev would want to knock out.
Well, we're holding off for now, but every second we wait is a risk. I mean, there's a good few highlights in this back conversation with us. Sorry's just
Green
going
purloin.
statue to statue to statue.
We've got this pending.
I think we have to go
Banana
and
bread.
finish microfilm before this is taken. There's the contact. Both conversations had real. We were lucky in that, and
There's
now
the
we're
take.
behind conversation microfilming when the take goes.
And the shot found! I can hardly believe it.
Oh, that cover just evaporates Oprah just leaves the party, that conversation circle as we're doing the microfilm, and I'm not sure if Rov even needed that to take that shot.
Yeah, it's so good from Rob being on top of the purloin chain despite all the additional noise. Sees us there, finds the shot, finds the split on Gallery, and all of a sudden, 7-3, Rav is on tie point. And Lev needs the full reverse sweep to come out of this with a win.
And trying to snipe Rov on Tayan is as one of the small equally split maps. I think this will be one that Rov will be comfortable on. There's not too hard to get contact. You can easily get a bug.
All right, well, Rob on the spy side playing as Irish in 3, 2, 1, playing it. A draw, of course, here does not guarantee advancing in groups. A win, in fact, does not guarantee advancing in groups by any means, but it sure makes it a heck of a lot easier. And so Rob's going to be pulling no punches as we go into conversation with our seduction target. Rob hoping to pick up another green flirt in this match, and what else could it possibly be? 50% on the meter as the ambassador leaves a print at blue bookcase that Highlight Twin immediately goes for.
We're content to just sit here, you know, let some other party suspicion build up. If Rob has been noticing Lev's playstyle, he'll be realizing that waiting with the hard tills until there's more highlights and it's harder for Lev to keep control has been working when we've managed to finish all our missions.
Yeah, very nice stuff indeed from Rav. Just looking now for some additional progress, maybe hoping to timer flirt this. That will be coming up on the timer pretty soon. There it is. And here's a request. That's interesting. We also do not hit the 2 flirt. Unfortunate for us.
This is not a particularly great time to purloin, and I don't think there's a print on this string, unless we're particularly trying to look unsuspicious.
Yeah, we also had
But
this.
now
We had this request before Alice actually took the drink, so maybe hoping there was a chain there. Kind of lucky for us, since Lev has decided Alice is a lowlight for that bump. That would not have worked out in Rob's favor. Our selection target's coming back with the briefcase. A little wiggle to return it. Very nice from General indeed. Takes a bug path behind the ambassador, but Lev not fooled. Here's the contact. It's fake for us, but both conversations have an SDA, so pretty good contact. That's flirt done as well. Flurry of activity in the last 20 seconds, but not a lot of it is really mission progress. So Rav, again, going to be using all this clock. I mean, if you paid for the whole thing, you may as well use the whole thing.
And now we have this drink in our hand, which is severely limiting what we can do. As I say that, we take a reverse drive-by into an immediate talk to cover.
I have no clue how that bug was something that took, but apparently it was. And now, Rav making me eat my words, a bunch of progress.
Lev's certainly not happy with the situation. I think this isn't so bad as it could be. I think you usually have to credit bug on Tayan to some extent, but Rav still needs to get 2 more missions, and a contact now isn't looking particularly great.
And we have a green purloin pending on top of it.
Banana bread.
The shot's going to come off before the purloin even happens. It's onto a sieve. And with that, Rav secures a draw in this match with, I believe, 5 games to go.
I think Lev was pretty unhappy with Tex from reasonably early on in the game, and unfortunate that we didn't manage to be waiting long enough to see that purloin go.
All right, well now, Lev needs to get through 5 match points to bring this match to a draw. And you know what? It's time to bring out Smallman again. If it didn't work on Gallery, maybe it'll work on Tayan. Rav sniping in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And an immediate bug coming off.
Immediate bug, and we're still off screen. There's zero way we can be seen.
Banana
here.
bread.
quick contact
I'm a
as
little
well
less
into
sure
a
about
split.
this contact.
Lev's rushing. Lev wants to get this game over with right now. The problem is we don't really have the green test flirts to pull off a good rush with our seduction target at books.
And, you know, as before, I mean, especially if we're Smallman, there is no way that Rov isn't going to credit us with a bug. We still need 2 more missions, and those are the missions that might get us caught. Unless we decide to just go to center statues right now and inspect spot.
Lev looking all around. Our seduction target goes back to blue again. But we're just going to sit in this conversation and talk.
If we're rushing, we have to keep on rushing. We let off those lowlights at the start. We can't let Rov just chill and continue to narrow down this party.
Well, our seduction target has come to join us, but another white flirt puts Lev further in the hole. And now we are down to 2 minutes 15. We have the bug in pocket as Smallman, that's pretty good. But are we just going to go center statues at some point to get mission progress? The answer is yes.
This is good. The question is, though, that with our green test rate, can we get through all 3? And then what's going to be our 4th mission? It's going to be, I mean, Purloin dance behind conversation, maybe?
I think if we can finish the flirt, we'll be good. We have our bug, we have our contact, we now have our inspect, but we take a very far position from our seduction target. This is making me nervous. If we were right next to him, we only need 2 whites, but now... Okay, we hit the green. That's a huge green for Lev. It doesn't matter! It doesn't even matter. Rov takes the shot onto us.
I
And
think
Rov
Rov
wins
very
the
happy
set.
to just takes it with that. Ready to credit a bug onto Smallman on tie-in, and that's all he needs.
Like, you can't even tell Smallman's at this party when that bug happens, let alone that we were anywhere near the ambassador. And it doesn't matter to Rov. We went to center statues. We went back and talked to the same person. I mean, I know we've seen Rov bleed a little and look a little vulnerable recently. The Rov that showed up to this match does not look like that at all. We're back to the impenetrable wall on the sniper side. And Rov has picked up 9 points, won this set 9-3. Now, the set continues. Again, we could be in some very dicey tiebreak scenarios with these players. So Rov will want to get every game that he can. But Lev now playing in a big hole as we move to high rise 3 of 6. Rov playing as Pearls. Lev on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I'm going with the slightly more aggressive mission setup here too, going for Purloin instead of Fingerprint. I think it's very sensible with these campy snipers. No one's going to be getting away with Fingerprint for free.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Rov, another slow start from Rov. I'd keep harping on it if it didn't keep working, but it really seems like it has, and so I can't be that upset with it. 3 minutes left in this game. We heard from Opie-Rights at the beginning of the match how there has been some concern about Rov's spy, but I mean, in this game, it's all been working.
And speaking of a slow spy, we're Pearls as well, which makes us even slower, as our ST is just busy doing her own thing at books. This is... I guess if you're ready to hit greens, then it doesn't matter. We can just wait here and be sure that we can finish flirt in 2 minutes, but it's still a little worrying.
Well, here comes Toby. We'll be offered a drink. And Rov decides, you know what, I would like a drink. Thank you very much.
Down to getting on for 2 minutes, and still 0 mission progress.
Yeah, well,
Or
our
at
ST
least-
went back to books after going to painting, so she'll be unavailable, I think, for a short while.
We're in with the real DA, but this is not a brilliant contact. RST finally comes to join us, and we get a far green flirt for 40. This will mean 3 flirts, and with 1:45, that could be difficult. I think at this point, the mission plan is to just flirt, contact, and bug or Purloin, I guess.
90 seconds left in this game. Just waiting for something, anything, to happen from Rov. This is not really a very frame-friendly setup. I mean, okay, sure, if somebody goes center statues and you like Purloin for them, it's fine, but I don't think we've moved from this conversation since the beginning of the game.
Banana
Well, I
bread.
mean, if here comes the real contact. The STA is out, but that's about it. It's pretty nice contact, but we've got a minute to go. We need another flirt, and it has to be a green from where we are in conversation. Okay, we're going to go somewhere else. It's... Oh no, is it going to be center statues?
It's side
It's not.
statues instead, but that's not going to complete a mission. Now, I've been here, I've said that about Rav, and I've been proven wrong before, so I'm willing to defer judgment as the laser comes over to burn us very carefully. Statue swap pending from Rav. Now, we got a lot of laser attention there. That is a very bold choice to do it, but 27 seconds left. We have the statue pending. We need to pick up a flirt. That is critical. Our seduction target's in conversation. So here we come for the flirt. It doesn't matter. The shot onto Queen, who had real contact, must have had inspecs and was shot for a talk. And that means with that Civ shot, Rav picks up another game and is now in a position where Rav has won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the last 10 games of this match.
I'm a little bit confused about the shot into Queen. Just crediting her with a bug, I guess.
Well, that is going to be the first game of High Rise. We've got one more coming up, and Lev is going to be down on tie breaks unless he can pick up some more games. So let's see what happens. Lev playing as Disney. Rav on the sniper side of High Rise 3 of 6. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. And same mission setup, I think, as you mentioned, between these snipers. It's just the one that makes sense.
I think the only advantage with Fingerprint is that civilians can complete Fingerprint reasonably often on High Rise, but that chance of a possible Civ shot just isn't enough to be worth sacrificing the immediate mission completion that is Purloin.
Speaking of Purloin, Lev will not take one. Just go ahead and reject that drink. Our seduction target does go to side statues, so that's good to see. We're going to request a drink again? That's unusual, but here's the offer. And now a take.
I am slightly confused, but if it works, it works.
ST has now gone for the briefcase, of course, obligated, and so that's the kind of thing that Lev probably would do. I don't think Rav is going to reward her too much for doing that with Prince turned off.
Going to take an innocent talk as our ST heads for books. It's a little bit rough when we need possibly 4 more flirts if they're whites, and we're down to 2 minutes.
A lot of attention being paid to Smallman, it looks like. Our ST, by the way, was low-lit after going briefcase into bookcase. So Rav not particularly worried about her anymore, unlucky for us. We do hit a green flirt from Lev, that's nice to see, 59% now on the total. As Ambassador goes to statues, we're going to go pick up this briefcase. Maybe Rav will reward us as well. There's the pickup. Ambassador in motion, and we will just probably put this down as the Ambassador has landed at bookcase. But very little mission progress so far from Lev as we head over to painting.
Unfortunately, Ambassador being where he was meant we couldn't really burn off any of the seduction cooldown by doing that briefcase, so it was mostly just a bit of unnecessary activity.
Heading over to our seduction target, a green flirt would finish this, a white one will not. And so let's see what happens. It's a request as well. There's flirt done, and a white purloin coming. This is going to be very hard to survive. Yep, there's the shot from Rav, and Rav extends his indomitable lead.
I think we needed some strong mission progress there, and unfortunately, you know, green on the flirt and white on the purloin is not the way around that you'd prefer it.
Yeah, I'm probably needing green on both, frankly, given that we needed the green to finish flirt. But that means Rav is up to 11, which I think is the highest score of any player in any match in SMC so far. Rav tried to get some revenge, I think, for the loss against Nebula in round 1. But now we come into Modern, our final venue. 2 more games in the set. And Rav going to be playing on the spy side as queen, Lev on the sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. So Modern, I mean, we've seen Rav play some very slow games. It's hard to imagine this one will be any different.
On the other hand, it is Modern, and it's quite a long way to walk between conversations.
Well, Rav demonstrates that with a long walk out to an empty conversation. Not a lot to show for it either.
2 empty conversation visits. We break animation very slightly to avoid having to get stuck with Disney here. As we go in for books. I think this is quite a nice wee place, having that right-hand conversation so full if we want to do an action microfilm.
Indeed we will.
As we do.
Yeah, I think there's no way it's seen. There's not really a lot of cover, but we were so distracted highlighting Disney and statues. Lev just moving the laser, not looking. Okay, so that's microfilm in pocket for Rav, with a minute burned off the clock.
As we head into bar, I'm not sure if we're trying to catch this fingerprint. It's a little bit risky. Ambassador is not known particularly for wanting drinks, as he rejects it right there. We can still get a nice delegate in pocket though.
2:45 on the clock. We do get the delegate. But the real question is, what are we going to do with this microfilm?
I think the question is, if we send this delegate, we're going to have to follow it reasonably quickly to books to...
Our seduction target bails on us. We're still at 0% flirt, with half the time gone.
Well, we've seen Rav finish flirt in less than 2 minutes before. But it looks like one of these spies might finally be realizing that more time does in fact help. As we hit, wait for it, it's a green time ad.
I think that's our first time out of the sets. Rav somehow being able to duck them until now. Pulling it out for the final game, I mean, hey, if there's a time to do it, it's now. And we move next to our seduction target. Will we finally pick up a flirt? And indeed we will. It's a white test, though, from Rav as the delegate timer expires. So 2.5 minutes left on the clock. We need 2 more flirts, 1 more microfilm, and 2 more missions.
Poor Rav meeting the brutal seduction white test. As if we want to do microfilm at some point, we'd be needing to eye up a good opportunity for that. At the moment, it's not great. Ambassador's not particularly in danger, and there's just no cover from these conversations.
2 minutes on the clock. We do have quite a few highlights wandering around this venue. If Rob is paying attention, those could be potential frame targets. We have not seen any SMC players really leaning too much into the frame game, but we have seen some jumpy shots, maybe from these players, maybe from Lev, that have allowed some of these spy wins. And so Rav could be having that in mind as he goes into blue bookcase, presumably to try to finish off this transfer.
This feels like a slightly risky transfer to take. A little better as Ambrose is moving, but Rob decides not to take it right now. We're going to take the book out and try again when we return it. Lining up for a contact, which at the moment would be pretty brutal. A lot of people out of conversation, but if we've only got a minute left, we might just have to take it.
Banana bread.
There it is. It's not a terrible contact. Quite a few people in for it. SD8 out though. Hate to see that. But Rob has made it back to bookcase in all that chaos. Trouble is the ambassador just went by us and is standing pretty close. So this is still very exposed for Rav. I don't feel good about this transfer. There it is. It's visible or zoomed in on it. And Lev takes the shot. Brings it back to 11-4.
Yeah, I think the timing on that for the entire latter half of that party, it wasn't looking great for finishing up that microfilm, and we were just being stared down there.
Yeah, I like the idea of splitting out of this contact to come to this brief bookcase, and we get there pretty quickly. but it's not quick enough to do this without giving Lev a chance to recover from the banana bread. The ambassador walks right past us, which doesn't do us any favors, and we head into the final game of this match. It will be Lev on the spy side playing as Alice, Rav on the sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Alice a little speedier for crossing the vast swathes of boardwalk. And we're going to go straight in for this first flirt. It's a green, and we bail. Here, finally, we're seeing a little bit more activity and cheese from Lev. This is what we really need. Unfortunately, we just weren't close enough to our ST to get that 50%. But we're just...
How about a green swap?
We just cheese green swap that. Oh no, we're highlight. I think Rob knows.
I think this is a problem. The question is, do we check for this swap? I think the answer is going to be yes, but we haven't checked yet. 99%. Liv finally hits the 2. It doesn't matter. The swap is seen. Rob takes the shot, and Rob takes the match 12-4 in commanding fashion.
Rob just all over it today.
Yeah, and you know, I think some rough luck from Lev, especially in the first half of the set, right? Especially on Aquarium. But Rav was there in the back half to capitalize on it, to pounce on it, and really just come out of here with a very good result. So, Opie, why don't we bring you back on here? I mean, Rav ran away with this game. What was the big deciding factor?
I mean, as it usually is with Rav, it was that dominating sniper play. Not a single sniper game dropped in this set, and we've seen that from Rav before. And when Rav doesn't drop a single sniper game, Rav usually wins, as it turns out, because you can't even lose if you drop no sniper games. It's just really, really impressive stuff out of Rav. I think we saw both spies in some of those games get a little mixed up on their timings. Pacing did become an issue, but we saw Rav on Aquarium in particular have pretty decent mission win finishes. And then after that, Lev collapsed just a little bit. I don't want to say it was tilt, because it didn't seem like it was tilt. In fact, what it seemed like to me was in the back half of that set, Lev was mentally worried about Rav being done earlier than Rav was actually done with missions, because of how those Redwoods games went, where Rav just seemed like a ghost. That can get into your head a little bit, and that's, I think, what caused those civ shots down the line for Lev. And it's unfortunate, but Lev now has a big, big hole to dig out of if he wants to go on into the champions bracket here, because even if Lev wins against Legorv, it's still going to take some luck. You know, you still have to have Legorv beat Rav afterwards. And because of this scoreline, you're going to have to beat Legorv by a lot if you're Lev. And that's just a very difficult proposition no matter who you are.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's going to be so difficult for Lev to make it out. It's not impossible. Lev has won 10 games, in this group. Rav has won 19. So Lev has to outscore Rav against Legorv by 9 games just to push it to the next set of tie breaks. And don't worry, there are, I believe, 26 different tiebreak rules, so we will break the tie no matter what happens. But that means, a very, very painful set of circumstances that Lev would have to bank on. But it's all going to start with that game that's going to happen in this group, Rav versus Legorv and Legorv versus Lev. Those are still to come. And of course, in the upper group, we still have the highly consequential Opie Wrights versus Me New York, which could completely determine who comes out of groups and in what place. So until we get to the next set of casts, which will be tomorrow, we have one cast, Legorv versus Rav, live at 9 a.m. Pacific. And we have another cast, Opie Wrights versus Me New York, live. Opie Wrights versus Sauerkraut, live tomorrow at 2:15 p.m. Pacific. All those announcements will be in the Discord as well. So that will pretty much determine potentially the layout of groups. So it's everything to play for those players. But that is it for us today. Scout, thank you so much for casting with me.
Thank you for having me.
And Opie Wrights, as always, thank you for lending your analysis from the desk.
It's been a pleasure.
Good games to both players. Congratulations to Rav. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.